Right. There we go. Got it. Hello, everyone. And this is Between Two Teachers. That's what you were looking for. You got it. And we are here talking about education issues, our life's passion. And there's so much that's happening, of course, as you know. So we're trying to bring you some information that you need to know locally, nationally, statewide. There's always something. Never resting. So today is Friday, September the 15th. And I know we were just here recently, but more keeps happening. And there's good news. There's also good news. So my name is Consuelo Lara.
And I'm Madeline Cronenberg. And welcome to episode 209 of Between Two Teachers. As always, I will begin this episode with our land acknowledgement. We pause to acknowledge that we have gathered on the ancestral territory of Huichin, which is part of the unceded land of the Chochenyo and Karkin speaking Muwekma Ohlone people. We remember their continued connection to the region and thank them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and pray on their traditional homeland, and offer our respect to their elders, all Ohlone people of the past and present. And we continue to advocate for the Ohlone community, for the Muwekma Ohlone community to be included in the national list of tribes and not to be left out. And so you can learn more about that by Googling Justice for Muwekma and learn about what it takes for them to become once again recognized as a national tribe and get the benefits of that recognition. And you can find the Ohlone, the curriculum. We are educators here and teachers who want to make sure that our children receive accurate curriculum, and the curriculum for teaching about the Ohlone people. It exists on the East Bay Regional Park website and on the Contra Costa County Office of Education website.
Yes, and all you do is go to About CCCOE, press on there, and download. There's a land acknowledgement link, and it'll give you all kinds of information about how to do that, even with a map about tribes and lots of information there. They're an ongoing committee, that group. So they might change their name, but they're going to keep working together. So that's good. All right.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Today we're going to start with something we haven't done in a long time, which is, or in quite a while, and that is an international story. I think the last one we had was about the concrete failing in the UK, where they had to move out of 1,000 buildings or revisit 1,000 buildings that had a concrete failure. Today, we're not in the UK. The big story that I'm going to refer us to is in South Korea. And in South Korea, apparently there is a movement, basically among parents, to be very aggressive and physically aggressive towards teachers, so that there was a national teacher strike because teachers have been assaulted, including killed, by parents.
Whoa!
So this is a whole other level of relationship now, and this has got, we have all of the issues we have here around criticism of teachers and teachers going on strike, but we've never had a strike, and it's illegal for the teachers to strike. So they did this on a Saturday, but they've marched. Tens of thousands of teachers marched in the streets to show how upset they are about how they are being treated in the classrooms of South Korea.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Parental harassment. That's what how it's being framed, but it's a huge issue, as we have so many issues throughout the planet, really, and that's the one they're having there. In back in the United States, one of the big issues this week was in Pennsylvania, in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, where, as in many other places, but Bucks County is the newest one. They have voted to adopt the 1776 curriculum, which is the curriculum that was put together by Hillsdale College, and essentially in response to the curriculum that was called the 1619 curriculum, which centered our history on the arrival of slave ships. 1776 curriculum does not do that, goes back to 1776, and completely recenters, or goes back to centering the curriculum as it had been for years and years, basically without any changes whatsoever, to recognize what we now know needs to be recognized in terms of speaking of how enslaved people were brought to this country and the consequences to all of us as a result of that. So they have the politics around this are that Moms for Liberty are involved here. They got somebody who, they got their folks elected to the school board. Somebody formed a consulting group called Vermilion, which apparently is very recently formed. That consulting group recommended the 1776 curriculum to the school district. And there you have it.
Wow, isn't that something? And all people just want inclusion and, of course, the truth, teaching the truth. That's what teachers want to do, teach the complete truth. And
right,
then we know.
Right. And recognize it was taught before, because really the options weren't there. People weren't being given any other options. And we didn't have the world we live in today with the connectivity and the information that people have available to them. That wasn't there, but it is now. It is now. So we shouldn't be learning the same thing we learned in 1950. Yes. We shouldn't. And that's what they're trying to do.
I want to go backwards. Okay.
No, nothing is gained. Nothing is gained by that. So these are all the culture wars around curriculum. And then the other ones that are here now in California, in particular this week, were in two communities in our neighboring Alameda County, Castro Valley, where there's a war about the pride flag murals that were at the school. So this is a big issue in Castro Valley, and whether or not there should be a celebration of pride of the LGBTQ plus community in their schools. Mm-hmm. And this had been, this is certainly a conversation that people have had for years and years and years, and it's really coming to a head as more and more very conservative members of school boards are being elected. And people are going to have to really pay attention to that. And also in Sunol, which is also in Alameda County, a small district where they had their school board meeting erupt into chaos and got national coverage. And it was also about flags, and they wanted to ban the pride flag. Right. And so I think what the resolution was to ban any flag other than the US and the California state flags, right, which effectively bans the pride flag. And that was what the target was. But it also, I know in San Ramon Valley, when they had the conversation around that, one of their board members brought up having a tremendous number of flags, basically having a different flag every month, maybe more often than that, because to celebrate everybody you're doing the resolutions for. So you would have a Hispanic flag, you would have, and there are all sorts of different flags, not just the pride flag available. So that's, there are lots of directions here, but Sunol truly is trying to ban the pride flag. That was what it was about.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was about. Wow. Okay.
So it's a problem, and the culture wars are alive here. They're alive. We've talked about Florida. Florida was got notoriety this week. They've hit 300 books that several years ago were in all of their classroom libraries and their school libraries that are now banned.
Wow. That's very depressing to think of. And this whole thing is just it's an issue of values. What are people valuing? Where are the values? And some things are just so misdirected. And the people fight inclusion. Seriously, they don't
Well,
want
they
it.
consider it indoctrination. That's the term, right?
Yes, they're considering it indoctrination. So I don't. And behind that's a lot of fear. That gets fueled, and I don't know, it's something we got to keep talking about in education because it's affecting our children. It's really
It's totally affecting our children, and it is not going by itself. It is not just going to dissipate because we can see the energy around folks who are really trying to move us backward, right? And if there was a possibility in terms of the big thing here is there are thousands and thousands of gay families in California and throughout the country, and they are being targeted by this. So this is not indoctrination. These are legitimate families. And so when you're talking about understanding and accepting their existence, that's a totally different thing than indoctrination, where you've got a set of doctrines that you have a theological adherence to. It's totally different thing.
Yeah, it's not indoctrination, it's
No.
acknowledgement, acceptance, and then this is life. This is embracing our differences too. So
right.
We
need to be aware of it. We need to just be continue to look at having conversations with each other about it, and also recognizing the fact that it does matter who gets elected, because we can see what's happening here.
Yeah. So all of the adults talking about what's best for kids, how about we ask the kids?
Yes, which gets us to your meeting.
To the segue to the good news was we have 2 new student board members on the Contra Costa County Board of Education. Sophia Nguyen, who's from El Cerrito, by the way, she lives very close by, and Daphne Millenick, and she openly talks about being foster, have been homeless, and she's also talking about she's going to law school. That's one thing she wants to do. So they're so articulate and so focused, and they just really are amazing. We need to bring in more. I wish we could have appointed all the 11 that we met with, and because they were just so bright, and oh my gosh, they have these new perspectives and opinions and ideas, and we need to listen. How do they feel about these things? It's their education. So I'm really looking forward to hearing their voice. And a great idea that the superintendent came up with was having student board members who are on, we have 18 school districts, and some of them have student board members, and maybe having a place where they come together at the county and have a council. I think that's a great idea.
That's a wonderful idea.
And they can give us more advice about the directions we're going, and
exactly.
That would be awesome.
And give feedback. I mean, this is where you get your feedback loop, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Your customers.
Yes, they're the customers. So we were able, it was very festive, our last meeting. Everybody was really happy. There was more people there than we've ever had. Not too many people there usually.
And media, you had media there, right?
And the media was there, CBS, so Channel 5, and you could probably see it on YouTube if you look it up. They interviewed the girls, and it was just great. Really, really great. So it's awesome. They're there representing the youth, and so young people, you have something to say. You have somebody there that's representing you on our board. as well. So and that was just, oh, it was awesome. I want to
And
talk
I'm
about,
very happy there were two.
yeah,
So they have
yeah,
each other, right?
yes. It is always better. So then they don't feel so alone, isolated. They've got each other. Yeah,
They have a
absolutely.
partner.
They have a partner. And I think that works out really well. Um, so we also passed some resolutions and recognitions. We did a resolution on the Disability Awareness Month and the Filipino American History Month, LGBTQ plus History Month, and Suicide Prevention Month. So, resolutions are really important. They are a statement of value. These are things that we value. This is coming from the county. So our districts know we value these ideas, concepts, rights, etc. And let's think about how can we then take the next step with the resolution and come up with initiatives that might be a good direction for, because that's what we're about. Electives, you give vision, you give direction, and see, if that's the direction that people want to go in, and you help promote that. So that's where my head is right now, about how we can further promote these issues as well. So those were, and then we also recognize the local Rotary. They are always supportive of education programs. Uh, and then this is a really big issue about literacy in our court and community schools. So having fourth grade or sixth grade level reading levels in court and community schools is actually typical. And and you think
Nationwide, right? Typical nationwide, not just even in.
nationwide, and certainly in the state, things that I've been looking at in the state. And there's things that work and things that don't work. We can't do it business as usual. And I'll tell you, it's got to be direct instruction, one to one. You don't need a task force. Don't spend the money on creating, all these administrators and all this. There's not a magic book. Hire somebody to sit down with somebody, give them some training about how to teach reading, and teach them to read. That's the only, or that's the most powerful thing, along with everything else, you have to do. They have to have direct instruction because everybody's at different levels.
Right.
So, and they have different issues around reading.
Right.
So,
And you have a small group. When you're in the court system, you're not going to get lost in the shuffle of a large class or a big organization. The opportunity is there to give you the one-on-one time that you probably never had in the in the years before that.
yep, that's exactly right. Because usually kids there, they fall through the cracks. They didn't get the attention and the help they needed early on. Somebody just wasn't paying attention, and they needed that extra attention. So
Right.
I think,
And here they are. Now here they are, and you have total access to them. And if you just look at the one thing they really need more than anything else is to be able to leave on the appropriate reading level.
oh yeah, I mean, just think that would just beat
Just-
everything.
Right. And the fact that that's such an unusual ask
Yeah.
speaks volumes itself.
When I was teaching middle school and high school, the kids, a lot of times you would find these real big, tough kids and they were acting out and everything. So you sit down one on one and you find out they can't read or it's too hard. So
Yeah.
rather than, I mean, I don't want everybody to know, that this is too hard or whatever. I'll just make a fuss. And that's a lot of times that's what's going on there. You got to talk to the person, listen to them. So I mean, yeah, that's a pattern kind of that I've seen in the classroom. So and here is something that we could do, we could actually do, and that's where you spend the money. It could be tutors, college kids, volunteers, teachers, teacher aides, just one-on-one, give them direct instruction. So um that's something we're gonna, next month we're gonna get more data we're tracking, and the science team from the county is working with the juvenile hall, so we'll hopefully see all of that. Maybe be a model, be a success and be a model for other places. So that would be awesome. And we had comments from our boards, and we talked about, we shared about the conference that came up. And one of the things that I'm hoping that we can do is take up this public relations firm that really specializes in boards, school boards, and it's called CalSPRA, and they are the California Public Relations Association, a nationally recognized leader in school communications, and they represent school districts and county offices, and they are trained to help you with, it's kind of like branding, and when those parents come and say, no, we want this and we want that, well, it's because they don't know what we're doing lots of times. And so we need more engagement. We need to listen more to our parents and our community and have two-way communications. And I'll tell you, I don't see a lot of that. And that's what we need to learn. So there's a conference coming up in that. And I'm going to see if, some of us can go to it and learn how to do this, how to really reach out to the public, because that's what it's about. We represent the public. We ought to know how to reach them for sure. So yeah, that's it for me. Yes. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Addison, yes,
There you go. There you go.
that was a lot. And I think that's our final shout out. We should give a shout out to our two newest board members in Contra Costa County, right? Trustee Millick and Trustee Nguyen.
Nguyen. Maybe we'll have them here on as guests.
I think that would be a wonderful thing. We could do between two student trustees, right?
Yeah, we have to do it either after school or a week because they got to go to school. So
we absolutely can do that. We absolutely can do that. So until we do that, we'll say goodbye from Between Two Teachers.